Hello, Demons, Fae, and those in between. This is Dizzy, and I will be reading Phantom and the Clones by Vet2270. Here's the summary. Justice League member Phantom, where the events of Young Justice cartoon change when Connor is not the only clone the teens find in the Cadmus Labs. Batman stares down at the former Cadmus Labs from the platform Green Lantern made for non-flying members. He absorbs the teen sidekicks huddled together amidst the rubble and ruin, how they regard the approaching adults with a slight amount of relief that is absolutely drowned out by their unease and nervousness. Good, he thinks. Let this be a lesson. A large number of adult members came specifically to intimidate the teens into acknowledging the severity of their actions. They may be young, but their recklessness will prevent them from living long enough to take over as the next generation of heroes. Superman is the first to approach the group, but to Batman's surprise, the boy that steps forward is not one of their own. The two stare at one another in silence as Batman makes his way over to Superman's side. Their staring contest is broken by the teen lifting the tattered end of his shirt to reveal a strikingly familiar symbol. Now that Batman has a better view of the boy, he is faced with a near identical copy of his coworker's features. He doesn't like the implications of this unknown kid with Superman's face appearing out of an underground lab, but he has to consider the worst-case scenario. "Is that what I think it is?" Batman asks, to see if Superman came to the same conclusion. He hears Kid Flash loudly whisper, "He doesn't like being called an it." But that remark is quickly overpowered by the unknown's next statement. "I'm Superman's clone." Sometimes, Batman really hates being right. While that alone explains the similarities with Superman, it does not explain why the clone is here, how he got released, and what his programming is like, what his intentions are. He is about to demand them to elaborate when Kid Flash hesitantly speaks up, saying, And he wasn't alone. In the teen's arm lies a sleeping baby with pure white hair and a familiar black jumpsuit. Of course. Why clone one heavy hitter when you can clone two? Batman mentally sighs and begins planning how to prevent further cloning incidents from occurring. For now, though, he has to do some damage control. From what he can see, Superman is still unsure of how to take the news of his cloning, but Phantom has yet to comment. He turns to the ghostly hero, noting that the rest of the League are already staring, but to his disappointment, the hero is busy trying and failing to discreetly text. "Phantom," Batman says with a heavier-than-usual gravel. He watches unamused as the ghost scrambles in an attempt to both prevent his phone from falling and trying to hide it from view at the same time. A few of the other heroes chuckle at the break from the previous tension. Yes? Phantom replies, cringing at the crack in his own voice. Batman feels a small twinge of sympathy. Every interaction with the ghost makes him grateful for not dying before finishing puberty. With a frustrated sigh, Batman prepares himself to scold Phantom for his lack of situational awareness, but is cut off by Robin placing the small clone into his own arms and moving towards the ghost. "We found a baby," his protege explains. "He was cloned after you." Phantom's unnaturally green eyes widen, and he floats closer to stare at the clone in awe. "Holy schnitzels," the hero whispers with his usual ghostly echo. "I did not see that one coming." He laughs, a bit strained, Batman notes, and holds out trembling arms to take the baby and carry him close. "Came here to yell at some kids and ended up getting one in return." Batman is relieved he does not have to worry about the small clone's living situation, but the budding hope he sees forming in the older clone leaves a sense of foreboding. Subtly shifting closer, Batman sees when the baby opens his neon green eyes, and he hears Phantom gulps and breathes out a quiet, "Wow." The ghost furiously blinks away the glowing tears forming in his eyes and brushes a gloved hand under the baby's hair. "Guess I gotta tell my sisters they're aunts, huh?" Phantom remarks. Kid Flash whispers, "Phantom has sisters?" A sentiment Batman is sure to be felt by the entirety of the observers present. Despite being in the Justice League for nearly 3 years, Phantom remains one of the most mysterious heroes on the roster. The Ghost has the appearance of a young teen, but has been recorded in history for centuries. His modern-day sightings are clustered in the Illinois area, but Batman has yet to successfully access information related to the Ghost. His lack of background does not appear to bother anyone besides Batman, but everyone there seems excited about this new bit of information related to their mysterious co-worker's private existence. Excitement aside, Batman still needs answers to how the kid's protégés found these clones in the first place. He turns to the teens and commands them to start talking, so they talk. As the sidekicks report, the night drags on. Batman considers just handing off the scolding to one of their other mentors. How could 3 kids get into so much trouble? He glances over at Phantom, floating in circles and cooing at the baby. At least someone's having a good time. By the time the kids got to the lab's explosion, with unnecessary hand flailing from Kid Flash, Batman is ready to just go home. How his life goes from protecting his city to dealing with secret underground cloning labs, he may never know. And then you all arrived. Aqualad finishes politely. Wonder Woman steps forward to announce the rest of the members needing to discuss proper next steps, including the treatment of the clones and the punishment for the teens. Batman is listening to the other mentors deciding on an appropriate punishment for the teens' disobedience when he notices Superman approaching the teenage clone. He's too far away to hear the discussion, but based on the teens' defeated posture and the sudden departure of the older super, it seems to have ended on a sour note. He'll have to be sure to talk to Clark about that later, but for now, it is best to let the super sort out his thoughts. Batman's current worry is the sudden tension in the teen clone's shoulders and the harsh stride towards Phantom. Leaving his current company, Batman heads toward the future conflict waiting to happen. He arrives in time to hear the young super tell Phantom, "You do realize he's a clone, right?" Phantom's loving gaze turns sharp as he regards the new voice. "Yes," he states with an undertone of venom lacing his words. "Your point?" "It's not like he's your actual kid," the boy snarls, ignoring the pleas from the other teens for him to stop. "Just an experiment made to replace you." The teenage clone receives a bone-chilling glare in response, a surprising feat considering Phantom's usual carefree and friendly nature. Batman, of course, hides his shock at the unfamiliar expression, but the gas behind him says this is a first for the other members as well. The young super, however, is undeterred as he states, "What are you going to do when he ends up stabbing you in the back?" "Wouldn't be the first time." Phantom in a low and threatening voice, holding the baby to his chest with a gentle hand supporting the back of his head. "Are you implying I should get rid of him to prevent that?" The teen flinches at the tone, but does not back down. "Why wouldn't you? What do you even get out of acting like you care?" he says in a steadily increasing tone that Batman hopes will not lead to a fight or tears. "You already saw your golden member reject his clone. There's no reason to pretend anymore." "Wait, what?" Phantom asks, voice back to his regular airy tone as he glances at his coworkers and their defensive positions. "Who even are you, kid?" "Kid?" the kid shouts in outrage. "You look even younger than I do!" Phantom rolls his eyes. Still doesn't answer my question. Batman cautiously eyes the super's clenched jaw and trembling fists. His own hand hovers over the kryptonite container on his belt. Aqualad answers in place of the clone, saying, "Phantom, sir, he does not have a name yet. We found him at the underground lab here." The Ghost blinks in surprise. "You're a clone?" The clone, who is visibly trembling with rage, responds with a sharp nod. "Dang," Phantom says, as the remaining tension in his shoulders drops. "Then what's with all the anti-clone talk, man?" "Dude," Robin whispers to Kid Flash, "and I thought you were bad at reading the room." "I know, right?" Kid responds automatically. "Wait. Had you been paying attention, Phantom?" Batman scolds and takes slight satisfaction in the wince he gets out of the Ghost hero. "You would know about Superman's clone and subsequent rejection." "It was pretty harsh," whispered Kid. "Totally brutal," agrees Robin. Batman mentally plans to teach these kids how to whisper properly. "Oh," Phantom replies sheepishly. Well, geez, kid. Sorry about that. You know, you're taking the whole clone thing pretty well, Flash points out from where he had been blatantly eavesdropping. Phantom chuckles awkwardly and rubs the back of his neck as he adjusts to hold the baby with one hand. I guess the novelty wears off the second time around. Batman has never wished to have access to what went down in Illinois more than he does in this moment. You have been cloned in the past, Wonder Woman asks in a serious tone. Yeah, the guy who did it was a real Fruit Loop. Got a sister out of it, though, so it turned out all right, Phantom remarks casually. And hey, he continues cheerily, at least I didn't have to get tortured this time around. Phantom smiles down at the baby, unaware of the horrified expressions around him. Batman faintly hears him whisper, so stable and everything, in an astonished tone. So kid, Phantom looks up at the shocked teen clone. You want to come with me for now? We can just let Superman cool down in the meantime. The teen clone looks up at the ghost with a wary expression, but the slight hope in his eyes betrays his defenses. Sure, the teen says uncertainly. Great, Phantom cheers, but lowers his voice when the baby stirs. My place is a bit small, but I'm sure we'll work something out. The ghost leaguer holds out his hand for the younger super and leads him away from the remaining heroes and sidekicks. Batman has learned more about Phantom tonight than he has in the last 3 years. Judging by the frantic speculations of the heroes, he's not the only one. I didn't even know Phantom owned a place, Green Lantern laments. Can ghosts buy property? Where does he get the money from? Are we just going to ignore the fact that Phantom has a clone sister? He did mention sisters plural. Maybe they're all clones? You'd think we'd notice another ultra-powerful ghost wandering around. Batman, Wonder Woman addresses him. Are we certain Phantom is capable of handling 2 children? Yeah, I mean, the guy acts like a kid himself, Flash adds in. I don't think you have much room to talk. Batman sighs at the chaotic conversation surrounding him. They came here to reprimand the kids, not act like them. He turns back to Wonder Woman. No. The Phantom he knows is childish and irresponsible, but considering his behavior tonight and the protectiveness he showed towards his clone, he wonders how well he knows Phantom in the first place. We will give him a trial period and assistance should he need it, he amends. With the clones taken care of, there is only one thing left to do. Batman turns towards the 3 sidekicks to address their punishment. He is surprised and marginally impressed by their determination to not only take pride in their actions today, but to declare a promise to do so again in the future. It seems there is still more work to be done. He wonders if the kids will like the old Justice League base. This concludes a reading of Phantom and the Clones by Veta2270. First of all, there is actually fan art for this fic, so seriously do go check that out. Also, there are more parts. So this is actually a series that the author wrote. If you guys would like me to come back and continue reading the other stories in this, I would be happy to do so. Just let me know down in the comments. So this fic was actually recommended to me by one of our listeners here. I believe it is Dranora Dragon Queen 1494. So sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I think I got it right, but we're gonna find out. But yeah, thank you so much for recommending this. I loved it. This is such a cute little fic, and I love how we get Protective Phantom and just him being like, oh, I have a baby now, yay, and him just taking in Connor is like, that's so cute, and I love that so much. I think I've made it pretty clear in some of my other posts that I am a huge fan of Connor getting like love and support, because he really didn't in the Young Justice series. I know that later he did, but motherfucker was just born. Like, I get that you're uncomfortable, but someone needs to help this kid who is a baby. Anyway, I do really, really love this fic, and I'm so glad it was recommended to me, so thank you so much for that. And honestly, this is just so cute. Again though, there are other stories in this series, so if you guys would like me to come back and do the others, I would be happy to do so. Just let me know. So do that, and also, of course, leave your comments on this golden piece, and don't forget to reach out to the original author, of course, always linked in the description, to express your thanks. In addition, let me know if you have any other recommendations. I'm always looking to add to my horde. Seriously, guys, you guys have been doing great with the recommendations. I have had so many that are so cool, and I can't wait to get started on them for you guys. So thank you very much for listening to this Dragon's Horde.